Dr. Thomas Matthew, President of the International Association for Religious Freedom, office bearers and members of the association, delegates to the 33rd World Conference, and friends. I was very much looking forward to being with you on this important occasion. And in fact, I had made out plans to fly to Kochi on the 6th. But some unexpected developments have taken place that prevent me from coming. Hence, I thought that the next best thing to do was to send you this message. The interfaith movement in recent times can be said to have begun in 1893 with the first Parliament of the World's Religions held in Chicago. That was a very significant gathering, and that was where Swami Vivekananda also spoke with great authority and in memorable words. In the 20th century, a large number of interfaith organizations came into being, the first of which, in fact, was the IARF, your organization, set up in 1900. And then there were many others, including the Temple of Understanding, of which I am world chairman, which was set up in 1960 by an American lady called Juliet Hollister. During the 20th century, a large number of sessions and conferences and gatherings were held in different parts of the world. The second Congress of the World's Religions was held in Chicago again, 100 years later, in 1993. The third in Cape Town, South Africa, in 1999. The fourth in Barcelona, Spain, in 2005. And the last one in Melbourne, Australia, in 2009. Now, all of these meetings have only one purpose, and that is to try and bring about harmony and understanding between the great religions of the world. There are differences. Theologically, there are very sharp differences between various religions, and it is no use pretending that there aren't. However, we feel that theological differences should not come in the way of a real effort to understand and to accept different paths to the divine. The Rig Veda has a marvelous line, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. The truth is one, the wise call it by many names. In other words, there can be a large number of different articulations of the truth. The divine can ascend and descend in whatever mysterious ways it wishes to. But nonetheless, if there is a divinity that pervades this universe, then it cannot, in the ultimate analysis, be different for people belonging to different religions. What we can do is to look upon different religions as so many different paths to the same goal. Or if you're climbing a hill like the Shankaracharya hill in Srinagar, where my house is situated at the foot of it, you can come in from many directions, and they may not even be able to see each other. But when you get to the top, there's a temple there. At that point on top, they are all one. Therefore, the basic philosophy of the interfaith movement is to try and examine what are those common elements between the various religions, and to accept and understand the differences between them. Religion has had a very mixed record in human history. On the one hand, much that is great and noble in human civilization, art and music and dance and architecture and great cathedrals and temples and mosques and spiritual literature and all sorts of great artifacts have come down to us because of the great religions of the world. On the other hand, more people have been killed and massacred and tortured and really damaged in the name of religion than in any other name. This is a cruel irony, and we cannot afford it any longer in this modern age, in the nuclear age. And one thing we should be very clear, until there is harmony between the great religions of the world, there will never be peace on earth. Even today, as I speak to you, there are conflicts which may appear not to be religious, but which at the base have a religious conflictual situation. And therefore it is so important that gatherings like the one that you are attending should be held from time to time. I looked through your program. It's a very rich program that you've had. And at the valedictory, I was given the topic, Hindus, Muslims and Christians, how they can live together. Now, quite frankly, that seems to be a self-evident proposition. I mean, in Kerala, in fact, Christians, Muslims and Hindus have lived together for many, many centuries. So it isn't as if we are trying a new experiment of these three great religions living together. The point, I think, is that they must live together in harmony and peace and understanding. And that is what you've got to try and get. Now, Kerala has great places of worship. It has places dedicated to St. Thomas, who reached there almost in the lifetime of Jesus Christ himself. There are beautiful temples like the Guruvayur temple to Lord Krishna, the Trichur temple to Lord Shiva. There are Muslim Sufi shrines and so on. So I think that if we can develop a reverence for each other's shrines, for example, or if we can introduce the practice of interfaith prayers, it can help a lot. I have noticed as I travel around the world, when there are interfaith prayers, when, let us say, half a dozen different religions are praying in their own way, one suddenly realizes that surely there cannot be half a dozen different deities to which they are praying. There may be different manifestations of the deity. Some may be manifest, some may be unmanifest. The manifest ones can have various different forms and shapes and names. But ultimately, the divinity has to be the same. Isha vasyamidam sarvam yat kinch jagatyam jagat. This entire universe is pervaded by, is illuminated by the same divine force. And it is that divine force to which we must all be dedicated. It seems to me that the interfaith movement has two dimensions. There is the horizontal dimension, which means our interaction with our fellow human beings, our interaction with other religious traditions that we may come across. That interaction has to be one of compassion, of understanding and of wisdom. Then there is a vertical dimension which is going within, because in the final analysis, religion is about going within, about trying to get to the imprisoned splendor, as the poet says, within us, the Atman, if you like, the Buddha nature, or what Bible calls the light that lighteth every man that cometh into the world, or what the Sufis call the Noor-e Rohani. Ultimately, that light is within us. And our whole attempt in our spiritual quest has to be to move towards that light. So if we are moving horizontally in understanding and love and harmony with other religions, and moving vertically towards the light within, I think we have got the right approach to the inter-religious program. So on this occasion, let me once again apologize for not being with you in person, but with modern technology, perhaps you can see me better through a film than you would had I been there myself. And I therefore send you Dr. Thomas Matthew particularly, who specially came to invite me to this conference, and to whom I would like to offer a special apology, and all the members of the IARF and all the delegates to your conference, my very, very warm greetings. May the divine, in whatever way we approach it, in whatever way we perceive it, may the divine bless us with the wisdom, the courage and the compassion to be able to move forwards boldly towards our chosen goal. And that chosen goal is a sane and harmonious global society in which the great religions of the world coexist positively and consciously with each other. Thank you very much. Namaskar.